Hello, this is Group 4. Today our presentation mainly talk about the diet difference between China and America. Firstly, I will follow you to talk about the main parts of our presentation. In the introduction, we will talk about the reason of choosing this topic. Then we will compare the difference in diet between China and the United States. After comparing, the problems caused by diet difference will be introduced. Of course, the solutions also be provided. Finally, I will conclude our main points and show our opinions. The reason of choosing this topic is that when the international students come to USA for studying, they may not face the changes in the diet. All of our group members are international students, and we find the diet difference really influence us in some ways. So we decide to choose it as our topic.
Hello, this is Molin. Today I mainly introduce about the diet culture in America. First of all, let's talk about snacks. In an American household, more often it's potato chips and dips, the pop in microwave popcorn, the cheese and crackers that can release pre-dinner hunger pains. So it's very great. After that, dessert it also acts an important role in their eating habits in their daily lives. Classical American desserts read off deliciously. For instance, chocolate sundaes with whipped cream and cherries on top, golden apple pies, soft and chewy chocolate chips cookies, banana puddings with vanilla waffle crumbles, strawberry cheesecakes with graham cracker crust. Also, they read off a bunch of calories and amount of sugar. Then let's talk about meal food. In the eastern of United States, people usually eat pasta and burgers as their meal food. Those kind of food contains enough calories to maintain their energy and strength. Then let's talk about cook styles. Americans use much more fuel for cooking, especially Western American. They use more butter, sunflower oil, and olive oil. Also, Westerners limit themselves to boiling, frying, roasting, and baking usually. At last but not least, American eating habit is also quite different from China. To begin with, they eat food frequently, which is a time-consuming way for them to do other meaningful things. Also, they have less family and group affairs. The northern part of America holds a very interesting and special culture. The men pay the bill for the most of the time. So next part, let's invite Xiaoyang to introduce the Chinese eating habit and feature.
Thank you, Morning. This is Xiao Yang. Let me introduce the Chinese eating habit and features. Chinese food and habits are important parts of identification of Chinese culture, and they affect the Chinese people's lives in many different ways. Unlike the American snacks, which are mainly made in factories and are usually unhealthy, Chinese snacks are made by hand and rich in nutrition. The materials chosen to make the snack are considerable in nature. Also, snacks are of local color in China. It's considered as an important part in the local culture. Almost every Chinese city has its special snacks, which contribute significantly to the diversity of Chinese food culture. The desserts in China differ from American ones. In China, desserts are made of beans and rice. They are sometimes given special meanings in the festivals. For example, in the Mid-Autumn Festival, we eat the moon cake while watching the moon. It's an important tradition in this festival and represents the reunion of the family. Different parts of China has different habits of eating main food. In the North China, people usually like eating wheaten food for their main food. In the South China, people usually prefer rice for their meal. But both parts of China developed a very complete method to cook rice and flour. There are mainly 8 different cooking styles in China. It's because people in different places prefer different tastes of food. The 8 different cooking styles significantly enable the Chinese food culture to be the most dynamic food culture in the world, and it allowed people to have different preference in this Chinese food restaurant. Unlike Americans, Chinese people value family very much and consider eating a meal as an important occasion for a family. That's the reason why people like drinking wines and get reunion for a meal during the Spring Festival.
Hi everyone, my name is Jian He. Now let me introduce very concisely about the problems caused by diet difference within Chinese. The first one must be the stomachache. There are lots of different habits in the US compared with China, which could cause stomach upset. Let me take a few examples to demonstrate about this. The most obvious one is water. In the China, drinking hot water could be regarded as a habit for some people, but since I came to US, this habit seems like to have to be removed. Therefore, it will cause stomach upset to some people. They are not get used to it. I'm one of them. And one more thing, the way to deal with food in America. In China, all the food before we eat, we would like to cook them, boil them, fry them in all different ways. How about the US? Take salad as an example. They just eat them without cook. It would be strange a little to some Chinese stomach. Okay, let's talk about another problem. Symbophobia means that people just don't want to eat food from all kinds of reasons. For example, it could be caused by different flavor. I do not like US flavor, therefore I just don't want to eat them. It also could be caused by the food, which would cause uncomfortable to stomach. Salad does could cause uncomfortable to some Chinese. Last part, I have a word of praise for my country's food. Chinese food is the most brilliant food in the world. From this picture, you can see that each region has its special kind of food. I don't want to illustrate how tasteful they are because word is powerless. Unless you go to that place and taste it, otherwise you won't know how amazing they are. Now, let my teammate Eating Chen introduce next part for you.
Hello everyone, I'm Yiting Chen and let's talk about how to solve the problem between the diet difference between Chinese students and domestic students. So the first solution I recommend is to find some Chinese restaurants. For Columbus, there are 2 restaurants I recommended, like Red Chili and Nanjing Noodles in High Street. And the left picture is the red chilies, and it took by myself, and the right side is the pictures of noodles that took from net. It's obvious that the noodles is much more delicious than some Western food for our Chinese students. So it's a solution. However, there are still some problems. The first problem is the money. It's a realistic the problem that it's a big amount of money for students to come to Chinese restaurant. You can see from the right side menu, every food are almost for $10 or even more. If we add tip to that, they will be average for 15 or even $20. So it's a big amount of money. And the second problem is the difference of the taste. I don't want to say that, but there are still some little difference because there are still some local guests for restaurants, so they need to consider their taste, so it will be more Western compared to the local traditional Chinese food. Therefore, the second solution appears. We can just cook the food by ourselves. And it's really simple. What we need to do is just buy food and then cook and then eat. Well, the food we cook must be proper for us, and it will be much more traditional, and the taste will be much more better. Well, there are still some problems. The first problem, and it's also the biggest problem, is that your dorm will be messy and dirty if you eat your food in dorm. What like the recipe picture? I don't think who want their dorm be like this. And there are still some other problems, like there is no kitchen in dorm, or I cannot cook food and I don't know how to cook. So a cooking skill is much more important than anything else in college life, and in my opinion. And now let's welcome our group leader Yingshan Zhao to make a conclusion of our presentation.
Thank you, Ying Chen. To conclude our presentation, today we mainly compare and contrast with the direct difference between China and the United States in many aspects. The direct difference really causes problems for our daily life in physical and psychological. So we try to eat in Chinese restaurant or cook by ourselves. However, restaurants is expensive and cooking is complex for us. In our opinions, we can use these ways to solve our problems at first day. However, we also should try to sue the diet habit in the United States. After all, we will live in here for more than 4 years. This is our reference list, and if you have any question, you can make comments below here or email us. Finally, thanks for your watching.